Hey everyone, once been here with the battle report. So this is a ninth age game between my Beast Herd army and a Dwarven Holds army. The game's actually played, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of a long story. I'm just really backlogged with games. Matter of fact, and there's some 8th edition games I may not even report on because I just don't care enough to do it. But I'm still enthralled with the ninth age. This game was just a ton of fun. I was really anxious to go against the Dwarven Holds army because I know the Army Book Committee tried hard to make the dwarves playable using things other than just a gun line. So I know they want to be able to play a gun line, but they want other things too. And so I wanted to be able to see what that was going to be like. So, and I can tell you now, I made two mistakes that were both in my favor. One I think didn't have much of an effect, and the other one I think, well, you can judge for yourself. Anyway, so starting on the far right, he's got a unit of clan marksmen, so they're crossbows. He's got full command. He's got a catapult behind it. They're runed up with +1 strength. I think it was just +1. Let's see, a big unit of warriors. I think there's 30 of them in there. They've got great weapons, and they can vanguard. He's got a couple characters. So he's got his dwarf king on a throne. Now the throne's kind of a trippy thing. You got to look at the rules on that. It does, I think, a few things, but one thing it does is it gives all units within 6 inches swift stride, which I think is interesting. I think when I first heard that, it struck me as odd. I didn't like it. Like, dwarves are supposed to be slow moving, but then I was thinking, they need some ways to, if you want them to be able to do something other than a gun line, they do need to be able to move. So they have their triple march move rule as long as you're not within 8 inches of them, and this you pay a pretty hefty penalty for getting that swift stride. So now I think I'm okay with it. It's fluffy enough, and again they're paying 150 points for that thing. So the dwarf king's he's kind of killy, but more than that, he's kind of tanky. So I'm paying attention to that going into the game. There's also a runic master in there. In all honesty, I don't think this kit that I have described here is completely accurate. I think one of his two runic dudes has the rune of devouring, which is kind of like the old rule of rune of spell breaking back in Warhammer Fantasy, but it basically, you have to let the spell go through, but then it gets destroyed. And one of his guys has it. I think I have it listed here with both of them. He's got 3 bound spells he can cast. Let's see, then there's a unit of Iron Guard, and those guys have the bodyguard rule, which means that as long as there's a character in there, they're stubborn, and they've got 2 characters in there. So until I can go in there and kill 2 characters, that's a stubborn unit that can do some damage output, but they're also pretty tanky as well. So he's got his battle standard bearer in there. He's got a pip of toughness on him, and I believe a 5-up ward, and he's got his other runic smith, and this guy has another 3 bound spells he can cast. So dwarves now can participate in the magic phase via bound spells. So I like that. I think the way it works out, I don't have any suggestions for changing it, but they not only participate in it, but they're downright dominant in it, I think. Anyway, then he's got a big unit of Death Seekers. These guys, they're somewhat killy, but the thing is, they're just unbreakable. So he's got a unit that's unbreakable, one that's for the most part stubborn, and then, just a big massive unit of warriors. So, yeah, that's going to be a challenge. And these guys have that rule, too, that when you kill them, they get to do an extra attack back at you. So that kind of sucks. Then he's got a couple steam copters. And then we go to my list. So I'm playtesting lists that people post on the Beast Herds forum because, one, I'm lazy, and I enjoy taking lists that I see that I kind of like, and I always end up tweaking them a little bit to suit me. So this one, the idea is you have a couple just tanked up units that nobody really wants to face in front of the opponent, and everything else ambushes. And so you can kind of a hammer and anvil kind of thing. So this is a unit of 29 longhorns, and they're with halberds because I really like these guys with halberds. They have the Wolverine Totem, so that's a bound spell that if it goes off, they're going to get a +1 attack and armor piercing 2. So that makes them pretty good. I've got a Beast Lord in here, so he's allowing his troops, ambushers, to start ambushing turn 1. As opposed to the rule that most people play is where you can reroll ambush. Now the rule that I broke, and I have no excuse for this, I wasn't thinking about it, is the way we wrote that was you can ambush on turn 1 as long as you don't go first. well, I just deployed everything I knew I was going to go first, and I ambushed turn 1, so I was cheating. You'll see how it works out. Yeah, anyway, whatever. So he's got a 1-up armor save, a 4-up ward, and he gives a unit a 5 ward versus artillery. So then I have the Minotaur Warlord, and this guy's just nothing to sneeze at. He's got a pip of toughness. He's got a 4-up regen. The Blessed Sword means he gets to re-roll failed rolls to wound, and then you have to re-roll ward saves. That thing is awesome on this guy. And he's got a 2-up ward save versus fire. That's a fantastic combination with regen. So I get a 4-up save normally, and if you bring something flaming, that's fine. I've got a 2-up versus that. Got a level 1 behind him. He's just rocking the +1 strength and toughness buff. I love that with this army. That with totems is awesome because normally I don't care which one goes, and because both my units have the totem and my BSB can cast a totem, I think I'm likely oftentimes to get 2 spells off in a magic phase, which is very powerful. So this is my second thing I did wrong. This unit is 29 longhorns with halberds, and I fielded 39 of them. It doesn't affect the game whatsoever. These guys never get into combat. But when I realized it later, I was like, damn it. And the problem is, well, the problem is when I jump around lists, I need to take more time to be careful about that. If that would have affected the game, I would have felt really, really bad. Anyway, I got the BSB kitted out, as you can see. And these guys, the Longhorns, again, have halberds. They've got the icon of +2 to dispel. And it's called Icon of Prosaic Days, and of course a Wolverine Totem. Then all my ambushers, I've got 3 units of 20 Wild Horns. They all have the Wolverine Totem. That buff, if it goes off, again, just an extra attack is nice, but then they're only strength 3. But if you have armor piercing 2 helps so much. I've got 2 ambushing giants, and then 2 units of 5 mongrel raiders. I just really like this list. I like it a lot. So that's his vanguarding movement, so I like that. I actually want him to come towards me a little bit more. I want my troops to be able to come behind him and get him sandwiched in between us. So I don't mind the vanguard. And we go to Cheaty Beastman turn 1, I ambush, and I come up, as you can see. So totally broke the rule here, but I think it would have been better for me if they didn't come on right now, because now all he has to do is turn around with his troops, and my other guys are way too far away. So, karma. Let's see, I think 1 unit of Mongrel Raiders didn't come on, and in hindsight, that was one of the best things that could have happened. I'm thinking it might be wise not to roll for everybody and just let them not come on. I think that's allowed. Just, because sometimes you have situations that arise where you need them to come on later on. Anyway, and I also had 1 of my Longhorn units, a Wildhorn unit. So I have two Wildhorn units, 2 giants, and 1 Mongrel Raider unit. So we go to Dwarves turn 1, and he marches forward with his Unbreakable Death Seekers. And my guess is what he's thinking there is anybody I charge into him. He's, if I do wounds to him, he gets all those extra attacks right back at me. So if I get, let's say, my Longhorn unit in with him, it's gonna cost my Longhorn unit no matter what happens in the long run. Other units, he just turns around, and I actually don't like that. Those giants look big and bad, but you get a bunch of strength 5 attacks going at them, and they go down pretty easily. And this picture's upside down, or it's just me holding the camera over the table trying to get the picture. But basically, these 2 steam copters shoot at my my Wildhorn unit, trying to cause a panic. They don't do enough wounds. I don't take a panic, thank goodness. Now, they're more than 6 inches away from the other Wildhorn unit, so the other unit would not have to panic if these guys did panic off the board. And my giants, I play them as if they are drunk on the drunken special rules, so they're immune to psych anyway. So he shoots the artillery piece over here. It scatters off and does a wound to my level 1. And his crossbows turn around and shoot. Again, they're trying to cause a panic on these guys. And he only does 1 wound, which is great. Had he done 1 more wound, I would have had to panic, and these guys have leadership low, 6 or 7. So, Beastman turn 2. Yeah, so I think I surprised my opponent with the giants not charging his unit. So his unit reformed to face the giants, and then I just passed a leadership 10 march test and marched around his unit. I did not want to charge even two giants into that unit. I think it would have costed me them, and I think it'd be better just to be patient. I did charge one unit of longhorns into the or wild horns into the rear of the Death Seekers. My thinking there is that I just really liked to get those guys whittled down a lot before I start wasting longhorn lives on them. And I kind of like the idea of putting really tough characters into that unit to chop them up and survive those attacks back better. Anyway, so over here, yeah, this unit charged the flank. So he turned around with his general's unit, um, but I could see these crossbows. So I'm thinking, okay, I can charge the flank. I should, I mean, almost certainly beat them. And then I just need to roll high enough, probably 4 or 5, and then I can get off the table. And he would have a second unit that had turned around, and then their efforts would have been wasted. So thought that might work. Here, these guys charging the rear of the Death Seekers. And yeah, so I charge in. I want you to look at those crossbows, right? I did 0 wounds. He did 0 wounds to me. I have a charge, a flank. We both have banners. I've got 3 ranks. I'm up by 5. He sticks it. Damn it. Damn it. So I reform and face his oncoming unit, thinking at least that way I can try to take a few of these guys down with me before their inevitable demise. That was unfortunate. And let's see, these guys, I was really surprised by this combat. My wild horns didn't do too many wounds, but at the same time, these Death Seekers didn't do too many wounds back. So I won combat by a fair bit, but he was unbreakable. It actually looks like this because he reforms. He's still, yeah. Anyway, he's far enough away from my stuff that I'm thinking, no, this is Beastman turn 2, so he can reform. And this was on my suggestion, by the way, and I think he'll do enough wounds that he'll break these guys, and then he can choose to pursue and get in with the giant, or he can reform and face my other guys. But he shouldn't be stuck there, I wouldn't think. So we go to Dwarves turn 2. He charges main block into my unit of wild horns that couldn't beat the crossbows. He reforms his Iron Guard in the middle, so now they're facing the giants. The giants, I think I could still kind of get out of his charge arc, but certainly if those wild horns are still there, they're going to get hit by the Iron Guard. And everything looks like that. And after combat, yeah, he couldn't break. Yeah, matter of fact, I think that I won this combat, actually. I couldn't believe it. I don't know. I don't remember what the dice were like. I think that shouldn't happen. I think I got lucky there. So yeah, that combat goes on. And yeah, this was very, very predictable. He just reforms his main unit, and his crossbows pursue and catch my remaining wild horns, and it takes him into the unit of raiders. All right, so we go to Beastman turn 3. I said the unit on the left never made it into combat. That's not true. They made it into combat. It's just, I guess what I meant to say was those extra lives never mattered, and you'll see why in just a little bit. But they charge the rear of the Death Seekers. I know I'm going to just crush that unit, but again, they're unbreakable. So if I don't kill them all, I'm still held up, and could risk a countercharge by his big warrior block. And so my second unit of Mongol Raiders ambushes, and I'm able to put them in a conga line formation. I think that's still legal, and if it's not, I need somebody to point that out to me. And they step up just a couple inches and redirect his main block. So assuming that's legal, I was very, very, very happy with that. Now I did decide to take both giants into the Iron Guard unit, and I put the other wild horns into the flank of that unit. What I need to do is kill his characters. Because if the giants can kill the characters, and I think each giant is touching one of them, then they won't be stubborn, and I think I'll have enough combat res to take that unit down. If there's a prolonged combat there, I think my giants are just going to die. I don't think they can stand up to prolonged strength 5 attacks. After combat, yeah, we couldn't kill the characters. We may not have done any wounds to the characters. Death Seekers got punked, and then my units are just kind of in awkward position. So I reform them, as you can see, so at least one unit could charge. So I think afterwards you can't reform in ninth age. What you can do is you can pivot, and there was no way I was going to be able to pivot that horde uh, in a way that I could help with combat. So my thinking here is the wild horns can charge out of the way, and then if I need to, these longhorns can charge in place of the giants, like if the giants die or something. All right, we go to dwarves turn 3. Main block has nothing to do except charge the redirectors and then reform and take combo charges. And otherwise, yes, there's this, steam copters are just kind of flying around, shooting at me, and I think the one in the middle is trying to redirect something. So there's that. Way to go, mongrels. Appreciate it. And yeah, so this one's kind of funny. My giants can't stand up to too many strength 5 attacks, but the thing is, one of them almost every time is rolling the yell result, which means combat's over, dwarves can't attack. I think it's like his Thane can attack, but everybody else is less than initiative 3, and they can't do anything. So I can't kill his character, so he's stubborn 10 rerollable in the woods. But at the same time, he can't do anything because one of these guys is just ending the combat every turn. Now, the problem with that is if I didn't end the combat, I'd be getting, thunder stomps from both these guys if they survive the dwarfs' attacks. Yeah, so these guys easily kill the redirectors. We go to Beastman turn 4. I take my rightmost unit of Longhorns with the Beast Lord, and I take the old Doom Bull, the Minotaur Warlord, into that unit. And I'm thinking that's about as good as I can hope for. We're going to get a challenge between his general and my general, and his guy has better defense, more wounds, and my guy's more killy. So we'll see how that works out. Yeah, so there's that. And yeah, if you look on the left, by the way, he had his steam copter redirecting my wild horns, and anyway, he either fled a charge or I beat him in combat, and it ended up like that. Anyway, this is where I felt the back of the dwarves got broken. We charged in there. I think our generals traded 1 wound each. I think both of us thought we would do more damage to the other. But yeah, I mean, we just opened up on them, just tore them up. Yeah. And it's not coming through in this battle report, but this unit over here in his magic phases, they're getting re-rolling armor saves. They're getting like 2 buffs every time there's a dwarven magic phase. They're getting 2 buffs off, so it makes it really hard to hit them. I think they're like -1 to hit, and they can re-roll armor saves. I just can't do anything to them. So they kill 1 giant, and so this other unit, I think they either redirected from the steam copter or they beat it in combat and then overran into the unit. Something like that happened, and there. But I don't know what good it's going to do. I'd really rather these units get out of the way and let my longhorns get in there and they can chop some stuff up. But I just couldn't make it happen. So dwarfs turn 4. Yeah, really not a whole lot he can do. He's just kind of flying his copters around, and yeah, so it's just kind of the same thing. He's whittling me a little bit. I can't do much to him. We're all sticking around. And over here, he has his crossbows up top. Are they? No. Those aren't crossbows. Those are his fleeing warriors. There's only like 3 guys left. I want you to remember the big picture of the warriors. Yeah. Anyway, I might be confused about what was happening up there. But anyway, the Minotaur Warlord charges them, and he either catches them or they flee off the board. Whatever. It's like that. Yeah, I thought this was a mistake with his copter because I was able to charge the copter, and I'm going to easily kill it, and then we can overrun and get to the flank of the Iron Guard, and then I have my Beast Lord and at least a few of these Longhorns attacking in that, and at least I have a lot better chance of doing some damage there. So there's the overrun, and yeah, that made a difference. Yeah, so that unit's taking a beating, but I think he still has his Battle Standard Bearer there, so he's still stubborn, just sitting in the woods. And then finally, I think Beastman turns 6. We kill enough that they run away, and I try to get them. I'm pursuing with 4 units, and I didn't even bother removing my units because we knew the game was wrapping up. I pursue him with 4 units, and he gets away from all of them. And then to add insult to injury, he rallies on his turn. Damn it. So, uh, anyway, yeah, I mean, that was a game was ton of fun. I really regret ambushing on turn one. I don't think I'm just trying to make myself feel better by saying this. I think I would have been better off not ambushing turn one regardless. My guys were too spread out. I need somebody to get caught right in the middle of the two. The guys coming in behind, if you turn your back to one of my units, I get swift stride. So the movement 5 with swift stride, they can, as long as they're not hugging the board edge, they can hit any unit in the middle. So I'm thinking turn one might actually come on too early. It kind of forces your opponent to turn around, and then your troops are spread out. So anyway, the Dwarves book, I don't know, I think I liked it, but this guy had a list that was, there's only one war machine, so I don't know what it'd be like to play them if he had a bunch of war machines. He's certainly, they don't have problem with mobility anymore. They can vanguard, they can triple march, they get swift stride with that throne. That wasn't a problem. They're still pretty durable, as you can see, with the exception of getting combo charged with 2 Lord level fighty characters and a horde of longhorns. Yeah, that's tough to stand up to. But with the exception of that, they were able to take a fair amount of abuse before getting knocked down. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.